Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for is finally here. I give you the Transformers animated leader class Marauder Megatron. I've had a ton of fun making this guy, and I was actually pleasantly surprised on how easy he was to make. What took the longest was probably just printing out all the pieces. And I can easily say that this is by far the most impressive thing I've 3D printed so far, and probably will ever 3D print. I tell you right now, if you gave me this figure and you did not tell me it was 3D printed, I would probably accuse you of stealing the prototype from Hasbro. Even though the prototype was never painted, I would still think you somehow got your hands on the prototype. Now, a few things I want to point out, because after just transforming this guy once, he became super loose. So, if anything pops off during the recording of this video, there's nothing I can really do about that. That's just the nature of 3D printed Transformers and 3D printed things in general. The plastic that we use, the PLA, even when it's the super highest quality you can get, it tends to wear down really quickly. It's just crappy plastic, in my opinion. Yeah, there are different types of filament you can get, but I just used standard PLA, which is like the crappiest stuff that you can use for 3D printers. There's a reason why everybody just uses that for just about everything. And yes, I know one of his hands is still inside of his cavity right there. No, I'm not going to flip it out because his hands are really, really sharp. And if you plan on making this guy for your kid or something, I would recommend that you sand that crap down, because they will hurt themselves if not. I cannot stress enough how sharp his hands are. You can probably see in the video if I zoom in. Yeah, those things are no joke. So these little yellow things are the clothing pins that I used to make them. They're there to keep some things in place, and to keep parts from falling off. I do also have the screws that I used on the site, wherever you decide to download the files for this guy from. I downloaded it from Colts 3D. It says to use number 2 screws. I could not find number 2 screws, but here are the ones that I did use. They're very similar. They're very close. As long as you use small screws like this, let me bring them in a little bit closer, you should be fine. Feel free to pause the video or take a screenshot if you want to get the exact ones that I'm using. And alright, now time for a size comparison. I have Studio Series Blackout here, and as you can see, Megatron just towers over him. And it's worth noting that I did fully extend out the legs to make Blackout as tall as possible. Still not even a fair fight. And putting the two next to each other, a modern leader class next to this guy, it really makes you forget just how massive the animated figures were. Okay, so now for articulation. As I did mention before, this guy is very loose, so I want to be as careful as possible when handling this guy. Articulation. His hand is not articulated, but it is on a swivel right here, as you can probably tell because one of them is already inside, as stated earlier. He does have bicep swivel, so I don't really want to move him too much because he is pretty much just balanced on this one leg, and if I move him, it's going to throw the whole thing off balance. The guns are on a swivel, they move from side to side like this. These guns, yeah, this whole section is an actual articulated turret. It can move from side to side. The head is on a ball joint. Yeah, the guns can move up and down. Arms, side to side. They can rotate right here on where my fingernail is. They obviously have bicep rotation, and they can actually move like this. He has waist rotation right here. Thigh rotation. He can do the full splits. He also has thigh rotation right here, but that's due to transformation. The shoulders themselves, I'll do it on this one because this one's a bit looser, but they're articulated. And that's pretty much all the articulation. Oh, also the toes, they are articulated as well. If I bring one of his legs up, it'll just flop down. So the toes are articulated, but that's mostly due to transformation. Oh, I just realized you probably saw none of that. I am so sorry. I don't have a tripod or anything, so holding the camera up is kind of a challenge. That was embarrassing. I hope my audio explained it fairly enough, but let's go through that again. Toes articulated. Yeah, the thighs are articulated. The upper thighs are articulated. He can do the splits. He can kick forwards and backwards. He has waist rotation. His guns can move up and down. The whole turret can swivel. The head is on a ball joint. His arms can move side to side. They can rotate, but mine's really stiff, so I'm not going to. He has bicep rotation. Again, very stiff. His arms can rotate like this and do the ooga booga. If you know, you know. That's a very old video. His guns, the guns themselves are also articulated. They can go like this, but they're very tight, so... Head is on a ball joint. I think I already mentioned that. And, what am I forgetting? I think that's it in terms of articulation, but if I spin them around, there's the cockpit just hanging there. And, yeah, let me go ahead and spin him back around so that way he's facing towards us. I might actually bring this guy in a little bit closer, so I'm gonna have to hold on to him and scoot my little platform a little bit closer. In case you're wondering what the hell that is next to my platform, that is my my Beats case. There's nothing in there, but I just thought that would be a clever place to hang it. How are we looking? May have to go back just a little bit further because my little thing that's holding my phone is drooping down slightly, so I'm gonna have to sit like this, which is very uncomfortable, but I'm doing it for you guys. Let's get down to transformation, shall we? Okay, first order of business, gonna want to come here at the chest where the turret is and flip this down. Take the head and rotate that 180. And you could push that back in. It does also help to move the little cockpit piece back just a little bit. It doesn't seem like the head went in all the way, so... come on, get in there. What is it caught on? It's caught on something. Okay. Perfect. Now, I'm going to take the other hand and rotate that back in. I'm going to be very careful not to touch his actual fingertips because those things are very sharp. The hand is inside. Good. Now, I'm going to leave these guns pointed, well, we're going to point them down. They're going to be facing down anyway, and I want them out of the way. Now, what you want to do from here, let me get them kind of centered. There you go, that's better. Okay, what you want to do from here is you want to rotate the arm 180. And we're going to be transforming them into jet mode first. So once you have the arm 180, go ahead and do that. Let me figure out which direction this is supposed to face. Rotate the arm. Yep, like that. And now just bring it like that. Perfect. Now, Mike, or I'm assuming that's the creator, that's the person who signed their name onto this figure, and that's the person whose name was attached to the files. So if you're watching this, you are a genius, because some of the engineering behind this guy is really clever. Like what you're about to see right here. On his shoulder, there's a little flap that you have to kind of get your fingernail under, but you push this up, and this little groove, if you can see, yeah, so this little groove right here is going to slot into here, and this little section right here is going to end up slotting into somewhere right there. So I'm going to lift up the arm slightly. Of course, this has to go up a little bit more, but his chest is in the way. Come on. Does not want to let me. Okay. Good. Get his arm up there. Bring it down to where it will slot in. Come on. Come on, don't fight me. Don't fight me on this. Just a little bit more. And voila. That's pretty much one arm done. If you really want to, you can go ahead and flip out the fin. I'm going to save that for last. And second arm is exactly as the first, so make sure you get yourself a little bit of clearance. Rotate 180. Because my figure is kind of loose, it's going to help me out a little bit. This is the first time the figures actually helped me. This whole time, prior to this video, it's been nothing but fighting me. Go ahead. Bring this up. I find that on this arm, it does it a little bit, it helps me a little bit more. Come on. Push. I can feel it wanting to slot into place, so come on. Ah, there it is. Finally. Okay, now, the cockpit, you could just pull that down and let it droop down a little bit, because it's going to end up going between the legs anyway, so just let it hang down there, let it do its thing. I am going to move the guns up for a second, and I am going to push this pin in, so that way everything stays fastened and secured in place. Okay, now for the legs. This is where I have the most trouble, so bear with me. I'm going to move these out of the way temporarily. Now, you're going to want the knee pads facing in, and please don't fight me on this. I would recommend putting your finger right here so that way it doesn't pop off, because, yup, already it's fighting me. I have a strong feeling that's going to end up being a problem when I'm trying to transform this guy. Do it to the other side now. Hold it in as best as possible. Okay, good. I'm going to angle these outwards because I want to make some clearance for the legs. One of his little things popped off, so I'm not going to worry about it because you're not going to see him once he's transformed anyway. But the legs, go ahead and bring them up. You're going to want to bring the feet up as well. And they're going to want to go up like so. Kind of struggling here. Oh, did you catch that? That's exactly what I was talking about. This little upper thigh peg loves to come undone on me. Okay, there you go. That's one leg. And it may not be possible on mine, but this little peg on the foot. Where's my camera at? Okay, this little peg on the foot where I have my finger is going to connect with this on the shoulder. I may not be able to do it with my figure. Nope, but we got pretty dang close. Now, come over here, do it with the other foot. Don't forget to flip up the foot so that way you can bring it around, all the way around. And now, there you go. Let me try and do it on this foot. Oh, I actually got it on one of the feet. Nice. Okay, now from here you should be able to bring the cockpit around, so give yourself a little bit of space. If you can. And that's pretty much the whole figure done. Just go ahead and flip the guns back down. I'm going to set the whole figure down now. On my particular figure, I can't really get him to. I can't really get that gap to close up any more than that. So you're just gonna. I'm gonna have to deal with it. You're gonna have to deal with it for the sake of this video. Oh, okay, I know what that is. I'm gonna set that off to the side for now. But here he is in jet mode, and somehow I feel like he's even bigger. But I'm gonna go ahead and rotate him 360. I'm gonna straighten out this cockpit piece. Continue to rotate him in 360. Continue to rotate him, and to give you a size comparison, here I have Voyager Prime. And let me turn them to the side so that way you can get a better idea of how big these guys are. As you can see, he completely shadows Prime. Get a aerial shot. Yeah. Oh, God. I want you guys to take a guess on how I'm keeping my phone held. Because I definitely have both my hands, so go ahead and take a guess in the comments how I'm keeping my phone up. Alright. So, thankfully, now that we have them in jet mode, we can transform them into a tank, and a lot of this stuff, a lot of the whole like jet parts are going to stay the same. It's only going to be the arms that change. So, once again, It's very simple. You're actually going to want to take the cockpit here, and you're going to want to push on this little section right here that I had to fix a few seconds ago. And before I actually flip the cockpit over all the way, I want to point out I downloaded these files a very long time ago, hence why there is no screw hole here. They're on the updated version of this guy, it does have a screw hole here, but honestly, you don't really need it. So if you're wondering why I have no screw hole on mine when yours probably most likely will, that's why. Because I downloaded the files for this guy a very long time ago and I've just been sitting on them till now. And yeah. So for tank mode, you basically just flip the cockpit over like this, and you just let it sit there like that. It's going to be a tank, so obviously you just leave the guns alone. The knee pads, you can angle them in like this. I'm just going to leave them out like this. It's all up to personal preference. As a matter of fact, when making this guy, it's pretty much all personal preference. The files actually wanted all of these black bits to be dark gray. I did not have dark gray, so I just went with black, and in my opinion, it looks a lot better in black. And I'm kind of glad that I'm not the only person who decided to make this guy in black, because turns out the actual animation animation for this guy, like the concept pictures, all that, actually do have them in black. So I'm not wrong. Flip the wings down. However, because this guy never actually got released, we don't know his confirmed colors, what colors he's actually supposed to be. So if you do follow the directions to a T and do go with dark gray, you're technically not wrong either, as we don't know the guy's official color scheme, but I'm assuming it's very similar to this, as the leaked pictures. The few pictures that we have of him, the official pictures. Gonna fold out the arms like this for now, temporarily. And the reason why is because we're gonna take the arms once again, and we're going to rotate them 180 again, so that way the red baits are facing up. For the arms, you're going to want to fold them to where the gun is facing up like this. Or, if I zoom in, the tank treads down here are facing down. That should be a pretty good giveaway. I do also want to point out that there are going to be a few things you want to glue on this guy. He does require some glue, but very, very minimal. It's just basically detail parts, so like the red bits up here, the tank treads, and that's pretty much it. I unfortunately used a lot of glue on this guy because I had to stiffen up the joints, or else he would have just fell apart like Dirt Boss. And speaking of which, I might actually go back and remake him using some of the techniques I learned from making this guy. And who knows, I might actually make the Rampage figure that Key and Carlisle made. So if you guys want to see that, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. If we get to 200 subs, since we're very close to 200, I will consider making that figure. But for now, back to transformation. I'm gonna lift this guy up temporarily. Some things are gonna come loose. Don't worry about it. I'm going to lift them up, and that's because there's a double hinge right here that you're going to want to come up like this and push up like that. And now you're going to want to angle this up, and you're going to want to rotate just like that. And you're going to want to do it to the other arm as well. I feel that this arm came loose, so I'm going to fix it real quick. I'm gonna set them down and fix it. Okay. That one should be good now. Go ahead and, I'm actually gonna set them down and do this, because I feel some things wanting to come loose. But there you go, there's one gun. Now, do the same with the other arm. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. Do the same with the other arm. Bring it up just like that. Now rotate, and voila. Here he is in his tank mode. And these... Let me bring them up just a little bit. The shoulders are supposed to connect all the way up, but for some reason on mine, it just does not want to clear that gap. Same thing with the legs, so I just have a big gap, but honestly, he still looks fine just the way he is. If anything, it kind of reminds me of Long Arm Prime Shockwave, the animated figure, where he was like kind of an H tank. This gives off similar vibes. It still feels very animated. So even if the transformation, even if it's not perfect, it still executes the look very nicely. Let me go ahead and fix up some of the guns real quick, because I can feel them wanting to pop out. Yep, this one wanted to pop out. And there we go. I guess if you really wanted to, it's a little stiff. Nah. I tried to make him look better for you guys. I really did. But let's get Prime back here. There he is. And let's do a quick size comparison. He is still much bigger than Prime. This is a big figure. This guy is actually designed to be the exact same, or roughly the exact same scale as the original Leader Class Megatron. I wish I could do a size comparison, but unfortunately I don't have the original Megatron, and I really want him. I really want to get him sometime soon. But let's be honest, I think this guy is a much bigger flex than owning any other animated figure, except for maybe Blackout. Let's go ahead and rotate him 360. Out of all of the modes, except for maybe robot mode, obviously, I'd say the tank mode is the best looking. It definitely stays together a lot better. Gonna go in for an aerial view. And yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review of the Season 4 Transformers Animated Marauder Megatron. If you don't already know the story behind this guy, he was initially supposed to come out with the 4th season of Transformers Animated. However, the fourth season of Transformers Animated never actually got greenlit. It got canceled in Season 3, hence why this guy never officially got made. He made it to the prototype phase. We were supposed to get a toy of him, but we never did. However, the folks in the 3D printing community, and I'm gonna make sure I properly credit them, because I made that mistake in the last video and I got called out for it. So this is not that prototype. This was entirely designed by the 3D modelers. This is a replica, if you will, of the canceled figure, but this is not the exact same as that figure. This was entirely designed and provided by the 3D modeler, and I will give them credit in the description. Actually, hold on, I almost forgot, because I even put out a video on this. Let me move the turret out of the way real quick. The cockpit, I mean. Oh, I may not be able to show this off. Well, I was going to try and show it off for you guys, because the signature of the person who actually designed this is right underneath the turret. It's actually this piece right here that the little head swivel connects to. If you want to know what I'm talking about, go watch my YouTube short where I found that cool little Easter egg when I was putting this guy together, because I thought it was a neat little Easter egg and a cool way of an artist signing their work. Let me go ahead and fix this. There you go. I am at a loss for words. I don't know what else to say with this guy other than I am incredibly impressed by how, thanks to 3D printing, we are still getting new animated stuff. It seems like Hasbro had, or at the very least tries to make it seem like they've completely forgotten about animated, but we, the community, clearly have not, and we are at a drought with animated. So this man who designed this said, screw it, I'll do it myself, and for that, we cannot thank you enough, because this guy is incredible, and he looks exactly as if how the toy was supposed to be. As always, I am Zephyr. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe. We are almost at 200 subscribers, and if we get there, I might actually consider making the Transformers animated Rampage. Alright, bye-bye.